Ever wished to start your own company all by yourself without needing partners or long discussions? Well, that's exactly what a one person company or OPC makes possible. It gives you the power to be your own boss while still enjoying the benefits of a proper corporate setup. Let's understand what exactly an OPC is, how it works, and what makes it both interesting and challenging. According to Section 262 of the Companies Act 2013, one person company means a company which has only one person as its member. In simple words, one person company is a business that is owned and managed by a single individual. It allows one person to run a business while still enjoying all the corporate benefits like limited liability, separate legal identity, and continuity of existence. Let's explore the merits and demerits side by side to see both the bright and the challenging sides of OPC. Let's start with one of the biggest advantages, limited liability protection. In an OPC, the owner's personal wealth is protected. Even if the business faces loss, the owner is only responsible up to the amount invested in the company, not beyond that. So, your personal assets, like your house or car, stay safe. This encourages individuals to take risks and start ventures confidently without the fear of losing everything. But here comes the other side of the coin, the cost factor. Forming and maintaining an OPC is expensive compared to a simple sole proprietorship. Why? Because an OPC must go through official registration, annual filings, audits, and compliance with company law formalities. This requires legal and accounting help, all adding to your expenses. So, yes, you get solid protection, but it comes at a higher financial and administrative cost. Now, let's talk about complete control. A big reason many entrepreneurs love OPCs. Since there is only one owner, all decisions are made quickly and independently. No partners to consult, no disagreements, just freedom and speed in decision making. This makes OPCs perfect for self driven individuals who want to turn their ideas into action fast. However, that very independence can become a challenge. The flip side is what we call the single person burden. Because one person handles everything from management to paperwork, the workload can become overwhelming. Over time, this pressure can lead to stress, delays, and even decision fatigue. So, while full control is empowering, it also means full responsibility, and that can be tough to carry alone. An OPC enjoys its own legal identity, separate from its owner. This means the company can own property, enter into contracts, and sue or be sued in its own name. It adds credibility in the eyes of banks, investors, and clients. But here is where a limitation creeps in, limited growth potential. Because an OPC can have only one member, it becomes difficult to bring in new investors or partners. This restricts expansion and makes raising large amounts of capital quite hard. So, while the company earns respect as a legal entity, its growth opportunities remain limited. Now, what happens if the owner dies or becomes unable to manage? No worries, that's where the nominee steps in and automatically takes charge. This ensures smooth succession and continuity of business operations, unlike a sole proprietorship that ends with the owner's life. But there is a catch. The nominee must be a natural person who is an Indian resident. This restriction limits flexibility, especially if the owner wants a foreign nominee or wishes to appoint a corporate body. In other words, while the continuity clause ensures stability, the nominee rule limits freedom in succession planning. Good news, forming an OPC is simple and beginner friendly. It involves minimal paperwork, easy registration, and fewer formalities compared to other companies. So, even a budding entrepreneur can start one with ease. However, this simplicity doesn't last forever. There is a rule called mandatory conversion. If the company's paid up capital or turnover crosses a certain limit, it must convert into a private company or public company. That means more directors, more compliance, more costs. So, while starting is easy, Scaling up brings additional obligations. OPCs enjoy certain exemptions, like not having to hold an annual general meeting. Only one board meeting every 6 months is enough. Quite convenient for a single owner. But on the downside, OPCs cannot engage in certain activities. OPCs are restricted in the kind of activities they can perform. For example, they cannot run non banking financial investment businesses or engage in charitable activities under Section 8. So, yes, the compliance is lighter, but the scope of business is narrower. Finally, OPCs are a boon for aspiring entrepreneurs. They offer a safe, structured, and legal way for individuals to start small but dream big. Many first time founders use OPCs as stepping stones to larger ventures. It encourages innovation and builds confidence in India's startup ecosystem. But as the company grows, here is a challenge. One person cannot do it all forever. Handling finances, operations, and expansion alone can become difficult. Eventually, converting to a private company or adding partners becomes necessary to keep the business moving forward. So, while OPCs are great to begin with, they are not always suited for long term, large scale operations. So, to wrap up, the one person company is a beautiful blend of freedom and structure.